How do seasonal changes impact rental demand?
So during the summertime, everything rents, and it's not that it doesn't take a whole lot to do. It's just little things that you do through the process.
All right, Matt, let's keep rolling right along. Now, let's talk about seasonal fluctuations. How do seasonal changes impact rental demand and pricing for oceanfront condos right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina?
So during the summertime, everything rents. It doesn't matter what you have, it rents. During the spring and fall, kind of the same way. Wintertime, that's where you really want to make your unit look nice. You want to grab people's attention because you want it, whatever you can do to get somebody to stop scrolling.
Yep. It's too simple, too easy, because the competition is going to be more fierce during that wintertime. Everybody wants their units rented during the non-peak season, so you gotta be a notch above the rest. And in some of my other videos, I think I have one on Airbnb hosting tips. You definitely want to check that video out, and just you want to make sure that you're following some solid and sound advice. You want to make sure it's modern looking inside, it's updated, it's trendy, and generally people might be they might dislike having to make their unit trendy and keep up with but that's what people are renting.
Right.
So that's how the game works.
And it's not that it doesn't take a whole lot to do. It's just little things that you do through the process.
Yeah, super easy, super simple. Can you shed a little bit of light real quick on any little thing? Like, is there certain paint colors you're using? Are you?
So there are certain paint colors. I use rock candy. I use from Sherwin-Williams eggshell. Since it's easy to wipe down and it really pops in the pictures.
Yeah.
One of the things while I'm here in town, I'm repainting the white parts of the furniture because you can see where people put their feet on the furniture and want to make them pop.
Yeah.
And so,
just any kind of small touches that can give
small
you.
touches.
Yep. Telescope on the balcony so that way people can drink their wine and spend a romantic evening looking at the stars.
I thought about that. But
you know what I mean? There's all kinds of little things that you can do to give you a notch above what your competition's doing.
Right.
Stay tuned, because in the rest of the video, have you ran into any kind of major insurance problems protecting oceanfront condos from hurricanes and severe weather? You really do anything?
I bring in the chairs.
Basically, they don't want to live in a place where other people can tell them what to do.
Right.
Insurance considerations. Let's kind of explore specific insurance needs and the challenges for oceanfront condos investors, specifically in a coastal area like Myrtle Beach. Have you ran into any kind of major insurance problems?
Not at all.
Now, there's all kinds of talk about all the insurance hikes and.
Yeah, so with the HOAs, so with the insurances going up, the HOAs did go up a little bit, and those the people, and that's what gave certain people an opportunity to buy, because some people who have bought their property, is badly managed and not rented well because of the management company, and they were still making profit, but they were making a little bit of profit. That with the insurance going up,
it ate through that little bit of profit,
and that's where they need to pop on Airbnb, and they need to be managed well.
Yeah, and guys, again, you can choose a property manager all day long that doesn't do a good job. I mean, that's a legitimate thing,
right?
And they're still spending your money,
Right.
They're getting your cash. So, I mean, and again, I'm going to tell you always to self-manage, because it's a little bit of work as you're getting started, but honestly, it's routine and it's systems, and you should be able to manage that with relatively a low time commitment after you've got it up and running. Anyway, so moving right along, hurricane preparedness. Talk about strategies for preparing for protecting oceanfront condos from hurricanes and severe weather. You really do anything?
I bring in the chairs.
I
tell the guests to bring them in.
Did you hear that, guys? It's that simple and that easy. He brings the chairs in off the balcony.
I usually try to come down here to watch the hurricane.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's cool. I do want to parlay real quick back for a second on insurance. some oceanfront condos saw an increase of like $81 a month for insurance. Other ones saw $300 and something a month.
Right.
Again, it's going to be about picking the right resort. You're going to be able to do that when you hire a solid and professional agent. It's going to look through the meeting minutes. It's going to check the HOA budget. It's going to do the deeper dig into the property to make sure that you're making a sound choice. The insurance, it obviously doesn't scare you. The profits are there if you do this right and do it well. So again, I know there's all kinds of major information online right now about the insurance hikes and this and that and the other, but it's honestly, if you have a sound business in place, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Right.
Yeah. Now, association rules and regulations. Like, dive into the rules and the regs set by the condos. How do they impact you as an investor? Do you have any kind of major?
So I don't really have any problems with the HOAs or the rules. Basically, everybody here understands that it's going to be a short-term rental. They're not. It's not like a community where they're, trying to fight it. They embrace it. They know that's what pays their the HOA bills and everything. So
pays their bills.
So a lot of communities do try to fight Airbnbs. Not here.
Not here. So, guys, he made it plain, simple, and clear. You'll often hear people talk about, well, I don't want to live in a place. I saw a comment on my YouTube or something, or a short or something I did, and the person, basically, they don't want to live in a place where other people can tell them what to do.
Right.
Well, at the same token, can you speak to that?
So one of the things is, all right. So I have lived in an area with no HOA, and when my grass got over 8 inches, the police came knocking on my door and said, "Hey, with your grass over 8 inches, you can get a ticket." So somebody's still there to tell you what to do. But overall, the HOAs understand these are short-term rentals. They, if you didn't have an HOA and you were to pay all your insurances, your electric bill, your water bill, all the amenities, and protect the bill, you would pay a lot more. You're getting bulk pricing.
That's exactly right. So the HOA is actually saving you money.
Right.
Yeah. So, and so you've never ran into any kind of craziness where the HOA regulations impacted you from making money, right?
Right now.
Yeah. So you've heard it right here, guys. Look at what's coming up next.
Hilton just announced it was a $100 million project. I mean, I'm sitting on a good amount of equity now just because of the appreciation.
Aren't you concerned about, like, what if the bottom drops out? Or we hit some kind of major recession? All right, so environmental sustainability. Discuss any efforts or strategies that an investor can employ, to make their property more environmental friendly. Is there any kind of, obviously, aside from, your Oceanfront Beach Act and the stuff that we obviously abide by here when you purchase an oceanfront condo, is there anything that comes to mind as far as helping your property be more environmentally friendly? Is there anything you do with your guests?
Not that I can think of.
No, literally. Enjoy the beach, right?
Right.
Don't litter while you're on the beach.
Right.
Don't throw trash off the balcony. Okay, so well, let's talk luxury market versus budget market. Can we kind of talk through about your experiences and challenges on investing in a luxury oceanfront condo versus, a more budget-friendly option?
So I have a couple of friends who buy luxury condos here. They rent very well. They photograph very well. The thing, your clientele is totally different. They are a little needier because they are paying the luxury pricing.
Yeah.
So they do expect more. I personally shoot for the median family household, the median income family, not the luxury.
Yeah.
It's a lot less complaints. They really appreciate what it is, even if I feel like it's a condo that, hey, this is all right, they enjoy it.
Yeah, so he's giving you a secret right here, guys. Now, for somebody that is interested in investing in a luxury condo because they plan to use it for their own lifestyle and their own benefit, that might not be the route to go. However, for someone who's interested in obviously making a decent profit and having less complaints, then that median area is probably where you want to be.
Right.
Okay, local attractions and amenities. Basically, are there any nearby attractions, amenities, or developments that impact the desirability of your units?
So I used to try, originally when I got into this, I was focused, how close can I get to the boardwalk? How close can I get to Broadway at the beach? Now, I don't feel like there's as big of an impact. I've been buying a little further away from that, and the numbers are kind of just as good. Some people want to be closer to Barefoot Lake, and so some people, just want to be rural, kind of at a resort by themselves. So I don't really, especially with now people can Uber anywhere. I don't feel like the location is as demanding as it used to be.
Here we go, guys. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. So long-term versus short-term rentals. Can you kind of walk me through, obviously, you going through this process yourself as an investor, you probably tossed around doing long-term single-family homes versus Myrtle Beach Oceanfront Condos. Kind of walk me through your process there and your thoughts on that.
So when I got into this 8 years ago, I had 2 long-term rentals. And once I got a taste for the short-term rentals, that's how I bought a couple more units. I offloaded my long-term rentals. I was like, this is where the money is.
Yeah.
And so I offloaded them, bought a couple more, and then after a couple years of appreciation, I did a cash out refi, pulled out some money, bought a couple more, and that kind of, I've used real estate to kind of buy real estate.
Yeah, very, very smart. And do you mind shedding any light on that process a little bit?
So, well, just
like what you did. What did you do?
So, I sold our first primary house. The wife and I, and I think it was one newborn baby and a dog, moved into an apartment just so we could buy the first condo.
Gosh, that's awesome.
Afterwards, we once we were able to show cash flow, we were able to use the cash flow to buy our next house. And
the cash flow off the oceanfront condos.
Yeah,
smart.
And so we were able to get a pretty nice house with the cash flow of my full-time job at the time, which was before mortgages. The short-term rental helped me get into mortgages because I got to a point where all my bills could get covered by the Airbnbs. Why am I working for the man?
Yeah.
And so I shifted and wanted to learn more about how can I buy more.
Yeah.
And that's why I got into mortgages, really kind of for me, but now I'm helping others.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Excellent story. So basically, kind of walk me through 5 years up the road, or 3 years up the road. Once you had a little bit of equity with properties, you did what now? You did a cash out refi?
Right. So I once I had some equity in several of the properties, I wanted to buy a couple more properties. So I pulled out the equity, refinanced. Basically, yes, a lot of people, they don't like to restart the 30 years, but it restarted my 30-year mortgage on these. But it did lower my payment because where I was, now it's restarting it. But it lowered my payments. I pulled some cash out. I did this on a couple different properties. I took that equity and I put 25% down here, 25% down here, and I was able to, I got up to 14, and then I sold 2.
Man, excellent strategy. All right, basically, do you have any local community involvement where, you're kind of giving back, to support local causes at all? I mean, have your units enabled you to be more charitable?
So I did do a fundraiser recently where basically it was an auction, and all the funds from the auction went to a nonprofit organization. And one of the condos, I gave them a free week in the condo.
Super cool. So basically going down this route has enabled you to give back.
Right.
Which is super cool. And do you hope to expand that more in the future?
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to ask me a lot more.
Absolutely. And obviously there's a certain sense of satisfaction knowing that you can, be that person that provides that for a nonprofit cause. Now, let's talk a little bit about future development plans. Are there any kind of development plans or changes that, that could affect oceanfront condos here in our market?
Well, yes. Hilton just announced what was it, $100 million project. They're putting a home-to-home suites and a Hilton Garden Inn right there south of Boardwalk.
Wow.
And a lot of people it makes them nervous. It makes me excited because one, there's a reason why Hilton's investing here. That's where I want to invest, where the big boys are investing.
That's right.
Two, most of my clientele is not the Hilton clientele. Most of my clientele is more the medium family household, right? And so, but with Hilton coming, Hilton's gonna pay for advertisers come to Myrtle Beach, and so I have a feeling Hilton, Margaritaville's putting a Margaritaville resort
right next to the Atlantica, right?
Next to Atlantica.
Yeah, I heard about that, guys. I don't know if y'all know about that, but next to the Atlantica, we're actually kind of in between the Atlantica because there's two buildings there. There's an Atlantica North and South Tower, or excuse me, there's an Atlantica building 2 and 3 and Atlantica building 1, and in between there's an empty space there. They're putting a Margaritaville.
They are. So the empty space will be the Margaritaville pool, and then the resort is going to be across the street with a catwalk going over the street. But with those big boys coming here, they're going to pay for advertisers. They're going to bring more crowd in.
Yep.
There's more airlines coming. I think Frontier, Spirit, a couple of Southwest are coming here.
Come on.
Yeah. So I mean, they're adding more flights because they're preparing for the developments.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We had over 90,600 people that moved here just last year.
Wow.
Myrtle Beach is the #1 fastest growing area out of the entire 150 most populated areas in the entire U.S. for the last 3 years in a row.
Wow.
So it's definitely we're definitely growing here. We're definitely seeing a lot of improvement in people relocating to our market in general. I think it's in large part due to baby boomers. They are the largest and wealthiest generation in America's history. And they are retiring at a rate of like 10,000 per day.
Oh wow!
And the trend that I can see is they're moving to Myrtle Beach in Florida. So, let's talk just a little bit through furnishings and interior design. Talk to me about the importance of interior design on your units, and are there any specific furnishing choices that you put in your units to attract, guests?
So my wife is interior designer, so she has a web-based company that she does that. So she gives me tips, but then she gives me tips on things that she thinks will pop in the pictures.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff I'm trying to cookie cutter. So like the couches, every unit I'm trying to get the same couches in. Most of my furniture right here, Seaboard furniture right here in Myrtle Beach, they have great furniture and affordable prices.
Absolutely wonderful. And is there any, do you recommend 2 beds over 1 king bed? Kind of.
So I guess it depends on the room, right? Like, so if it's gonna be like a bedroom where the bedroom is oceanfront, definitely I'll do a king bed, right? But if it's a bedroom where it's not gonna get ocean view, I'd put 2 queens or 2 twins or whatever you can fit in there.
Yeah.
Because that way you can be versatile. Because if somebody prefers 1 king bed, they can put them together if they want.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it all about the number of people you can sleep?
It used to be, and not so much anymore. And so that's where I used to keep all my Murphy beds in there, but now it's more. It's more. They want something that looks nice.
Yeah. So you pulled your Murphy beds out.
Some of my units I did.
Yeah. And so basically now in their place, I mean, are you putting in like desks?
Workstations.
Executive desk, workstation.
Yeah.
So. And again, that's going to give you that really nice look and that really nice feel.
One of my units didn't have a closet, so I made that a closet.
Yeah, wonderful. So, guys, you've heard it right there. Our final question is investment strategies during economic downturns. What are the strategies that you use to navigate economic downturns, or market fluctuations?
Well, I mean, they say buy when everyone else is in fear, right? And so, like, I think, a lot of people are holding off right now till I'm waiting till rates come down. Don't wait till rates come down.
It doesn't. I mean, like, guys, the person paying for the rate are the tourists.
Right. The rate doesn't matter as long as
it really doesn't
cash
matter.
flow. that's why I deal with a lot of investors, and they're return investors, and no matter what the economy is looking like, they're coming back, because the minute they stop investing, they're losing.
Kind of explain just a little bit more about that. What do you mean by the minute they stop investing?
Well, so you only have so many years to keep investing, right? And so most of the investors I work with, every year they want to buy. They don't care where the rates are. They've already gotten a taste, and they know it works.
Yeah.
And I need to every year. They don't even ask me what the rates are. Hey, I want to buy another one. Can I get a pre-approval? Because they're ready to buy their next one.
Because it's making money.
Because it's making money.
Regardless,
right.
Regardless of the rate. So, guys, you heard that there. Now, economic downturns. In the last 8 years that you've owned, have we had any serious downturns that have impacted you besides COVID? COVID?
Yeah.
You got through that just fine.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting on a good amount of equity now just because of the appreciation.
Yep. Now, what's your plans after you pay off your units? What's your plan?
I don't ever plan to pay them off. I think as long as there's equity in them, I will probably continue to pull equity out and reinvest and buy more.
Dude, that's super awesome. It gets me so excited for you, man. So, you've heard that, guys. He doesn't plan on paying his units off because he's got the advantage of buying more and more and more. Now, aren't you concerned about, like, what if the bottom drops out, or we hit some kind of major recession or depression, and then you've got all these units? What are you going to do then?
So the thing is last time when it bottomed out, Airbnb wasn't around, right? Like, you were dependent on the property management companies renting the places out. Those property management companies at the time were keeping 50%. So it made it really tough in 2008. But now, you don't really have to depend on anyone else. If there's an economic downturn, and say you're upside down in the property, which I don't think will ever happen, but if it did happen, just keep renting your unit.
You don't think it'll ever happen being upside down? No. Because they generate that much profit?
Well, I think it's because there's going to be
appreciation.
Not that much appreciation, but with the big boys building Hiltons and Marriotts and knocking down these other guys, the demand is going up.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, guys, so we're going to have just a little bit of fun. I'm going to say a statement, and I want Matt to finish it with what comes to mind. Short-term versus long-term.
Short-term is more money.
All right, Myrtle Beach versus other investment areas in the U.S.
Myrtle Beach is more money.
More money? Myrtle Beach versus Florida.
Myrtle Beach is cheaper.
Cheaper, there we go. Two-bedroom versus an efficiency.
So it's less competition on a two-bedroom and more profitability.
Less competition and more profitability?
I think so.
Less competition. In other words, you feel like there are less two-bedroom units on the market when compared to efficiencies?
For rent,
yeah. And then kind of walk me through, I mean, recently you and I were having a conversation. You mentioned that something like two bedrooms bring in double the rental income than a one bedroom.
Right.
Kind of walk through that a little bit.
So my two bedrooms are bringing in about 70 grand. My one bedrooms were bringing in, I'd say about 45 grand. But the HOA is just a little bit more. The purchase price is just a little bit more. So in reality, when you look at the overall net profit, I feel like the two bedrooms is a sweet spot.
Yeah. Airbnb versus Google Vacation Rentals.
Yeah. It's going to be the next best thing right now. If you can get on Google Vacation Rentals, do it.
North Myrtle Beach versus Myrtle Beach.
So I've had a shift on that because before when I started looking at the numbers, 100% I was Myrtle Beach. Now looking at the numbers, it's kind of even. It's between the cost and the rental market. My next one I might buy in North Myrtle just to test the waters.
Gotcha. So Garden City, Surfside Beach, Pawleys Island, versus North Myrtle Beach, South End versus North End.
I haven't really written the numbers outside of down in like Surfside, but
would you ever go that far south?
I don't know because a lot of my clients, they fly in an Uber to the condos, so that's where it's It's
super easy having Myrtle Beach, MYR right there.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so east of Business 17, non-oceanfront. We're talking, 1 block from the beach to east of Business 17 versus an oceanfront condo.
So my thing is, you're gonna rent in the summer, but in the winter, when you're trying to make that extra little pop, it's gonna be hard to convince somebody to rent. You're really gonna need a gimmick to get people to rent inland when they can rent a direct oceanfront in the winter.
Airbnb versus VRBO.
So Airbnb, it depends on the property types, right? With condos, I'd say 99% of my bookings come from Airbnb. I am on VRBO, and I don't get many bookings from there, but I have investors that own houses, and they get 99% of the bookings through houses. So I think it's just the clientele. Airbnb is more the condotel kind of clientele,
which is oceanfront condos.
right? The oceanfront condos, and VRBO seems to be more of the houses, but I do get clients off of VRBO, so I'm on that platform.
Absolutely. All right, let's get in unit 803. Now you will notice really nice flooring as soon as you come in. Really nice colored paint on the walls, nice gray paint. 2 full-size beds, a fan with a light in the room, which is a huge plus. There is a closet there, as well as bathroom access. Now across the hall, you have the second bedroom. Flat screen TV again, 2 nice big full-size beds. An owner's closet. Excellent. You always want one of those, especially if you're self-managing, and an actual closet to the left. Nice full-size bathroom, as you can see here. Look at that, guys. Stunning tile. Now you do have a washer and dryer stackable here in the closet, which is really, really cool. Very useful for off-season guests. They're going to have longer stays. Granite countertops, as you can see, dishwasher, dual sink, microwave, stove, a refrigerator. This is basically a home away from home. Now, immediately to the right, we do have the master, as you can see here. Flat screen, 2 nice big full-size beds, closet right there in the corner, and then access to your own private bathroom. Tub shower combo, as you can see. Let's check out that. Oh, and did I forget to mention your own balcony access, which is huge. I can't wait to get to that balcony, guys. There's your dining room. Flows effortlessly into the living room. Flat screen, as you can see, and a massive balcony. Huge balcony, as you can see, guys. Check that out. Looks like somebody's got some live music going on. But this is your moneymaker right here. People want this balcony. They want a big, spacious balcony. Takes you right into the master. All right, guys. Well, this is Brandon signing off with Matt Freeze here with the Shorewise Wealth channel right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Look at what's coming up next.
I just watched what properties we're booking for, and at that point I said, there's no way that it can't be profitable. I've thought about diversifying and buying in other areas. I can't find the cash flow that I'm getting here.
What would you say to yourself if you were a first-time investor and, if you could save yourself a year of time, what would you go back and say to yourself? For those of you interested in diving just a little bit deeper into Matt's experience and his expertise, I got a handful of questions that I'm excited about asking him. Matt, how did you get started investing in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach?
So I actually met somebody in the Dominican Republic who was telling me how profitable it was. This was probably 10 years ago. And then shortly after I went on a cruise, and I met somebody on a cruise who I asked them what they did, and they said, I own investment properties. I said, well, what else do you do? They said, I own 14 investment properties, that's it. And that's, it really intrigued me.
It obviously paid off following that advice, guys. You heard that yourself. He's been in the business, he heard about it 10 years ago. He's been in the business 8 years. And he's obviously doing well in the Airbnb short-term rental market here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So it doesn't take a blinding light to realize that this is the way to go, right?
Right.
Now, what attracted you to investing specifically in Myrtle Beach oceanfront properties?
Well, so after I met a lady in the Dominican Republic who was explaining to me how much money she was generating down here, I started watching Airbnb and I just watched what properties were booking for. And at that point, I said, there's no way that it can't be profitable. I just ran the numbers over and over again for almost a year. And that's what made me decide Myrtle Beach. Since then, I've thought about diversifying and buying in other areas. I can't find the cash flow that I'm getting here due to the cost to cash flow.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, our oceanfront condos are some of the cheapest in the nation.
Right.
And as far as short-term, so we're where you want to be.
Right.
Basically, I mean the profit's there. Like, I mean, I can't say it enough. Now, of course, we can't guarantee future profits, and yes, there are bad, investments that you can make that aren't smart and aren't good. Absolutely. However, when you work with a solid and professional broker like myself that's going to help you, we're going to give you all of the best information that we can gather for you so that you make a savvy and informed investment decision. You're hearing it right here live, guys. Now, what would you say to yourself? It took you a year to gather enough information, work up the confidence to take that plunge, right? What would you say to yourself if you were a first-time investor and, if you could save yourself a year of time, what would you go back and say to yourself?
Well, just do it. In those 2 years I did my research, the values went up. So that could have been extra equity in my properties.
Look at what's coming up next.
Literally made the plunge. We sold our primary house so we could buy our first one.
How do you assess the potential profitability of a Myrtle Beach oceanfront condo investment? As long as those pictures are going to pop.
Right. It's all about the picture. What finally, once I found a lender, two, I found a way to come up with the cash. I made the plunge.
Yeah.
And we literally made the plunge. We sold our primary house so we could buy our first one.
You hear that, guys? Right there. So, and it obviously paid off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that would be a huge risk for a lot of people. But think about that. Matt was courageous enough to overcome the fear of, one, everything that could go wrong, and what if this, and what if that, and all that. And on top of that, he went even further to sell his primary residence so that he could break into the oceanfront condo investing game. And it has obviously paid off very well for you. All right, guys, so let's keep rolling. All right, how do you assess the potential profitability of a Myrtle Beach oceanfront condo investment? So like when you start running those numbers and looking through things, what's going on? Walk us a little bit through your process.
So I guess I kind of, I look at the amenities, I look at the property overall. Overall, at this point, I feel like I can look at a property and just tell in the back of my head, okay, here's what I'll make a year on this. But it comes down to the amenities, the look of the attraction of the building. And
yeah. So basically, you're saying, and I'm gonna put this in my own words here. If the unit and the resort will show well on Airbnb and VRBO, then it's probably going to be a winner.
Right.
As long as it's got the right amenities, and then as long as it shows well, as long as it's updated well, it's got LVP flooring, it's got modern touches and finishes to it. As long as those pictures are going to pop.
Right. It's all about the pictures.
It's all about the pictures. So I mean, guys, we're making it simple and easy here. I mean, he's giving you the sauce right here. It's all about the pictures. Of course, you want to make sure that you have an oceanfront condo resort that has excellent amenities, because that's what they're looking for.
Right. When you look at the pictures, look at the resort. Is that somewhere you want to bring your family?
Bingo. Simple and easy way to help you navigate your own decision as far as which to buy in. Would I want to stay here? And now, and I'll also go back on the other side of that. Look at what's coming up next. Or you can buy an oceanfront condo for $96,000 on average. Now, my wife wouldn't want to stay there.
Right.
How do you manage multiple oceanfront condo properties in Myrtle Beach? What are the unique challenges or advantages of owning oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach compared to other locations?
Especially when there's big events, everything sells out.
There are oceanfront condo resorts in our market that lots of people that my wife would not stay in. You know, I mean, just going to be super honest with you. However, they are generating profit.
They are.
And there is an audience and a demographic that are renting those and that are happy all day long, and they're making money. Right. So, you know, I particularly know of an oceanfront condo resort. You can buy an oceanfront condo for $96,000 on average. Now, my wife wouldn't want to stay there.
Right.
She wouldn't. At the same token, they're generating at least 28, some 30, you know, anyways, at least $28,000 a year in gross rental income. I mean, where can you go and spend 96 grand and pick up a property that's generating $28,000? You're probably going to walk away with 12 to 13 grand in profit every year.
Right.
You know, so you got to weigh what's going to be a good fit for you. And if you're first getting started, that might be a really good option for you. You know, if you've got a limited amount of cash flow to get in the game, it's better to break into the game and start learning and get that ball rolling and moving in the right direction than to sit on the sidelines and not break in or have to save up more cash, and you're just losing out on equity that you could be building in your own oceanfront condo unit if you simply start with a cheaper condo that maybe you don't like, maybe you wouldn't stay at, but plenty of people are renting it out. All right, so how do you manage multiple oceanfront condo properties in Myrtle Beach?
I use HostAway and a great cleaning company and a couple great maintenance guys.
So you've built a little team.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
So, essentially, and so that's something that, you know, I'll be able to help you out with that. I'll get you in contact with, you know, great handymen, great contractors and stuff like that. Make that process simple and easy for you. It is in part about building and surrounding yourself with the right people locally that can make sure that they've managed every aspect of that for you, and that you can just pick up the phone and go, hey, I've got an AC unit that's acting up, I've got a dishwasher that's broke, you know, I got blah, 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 and they can just jump right in there and help you out. What are the unique challenges or advantages of owning oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach compared to other locations?
Unique challenges, and there's a lot of them, and so I mean, so there's a lot of competition, but there's still a lot of demand, and that's especially when there's big events, everything sells out. Yeah.
So, and we have multiple big events throughout the year. The Country Music Festival brings some of the largest names in country music here. You got the Myrtle Beach Marathon. We have over 90, some say over 100 golf courses in our market. Guys, the golfing traffic alone is probably tremendous.
Right, we had the best PGA first turnout ever for this past week.
Yeah, I mean, like, so we're not exaggerating here. Like, lots and lots of people. We have between 20 and 22 million tourists that visit for a variety of reasons every year. We got 2 different bike weeks that come. Am I missing any big ones?
This truck week, Mustang week.
I mean, guys, there's so much stuff that goes on here. So
cheer competitions,
competitions,
softball.
Yep, softball. We got there's the huge North Myrtle Beach complex, the sports complex up there. Yeah. Anyway, so guys, there are lots of tourism hitting our market every single year. Our economy in large part is built off of tourism here. So basically, you know, if you're looking for a smart move, your short-term rental properties in Myrtle Beach, while they have lots of competition, there is still such a heavy demand. And there's, in my opinion, there's a lot of oceanfront condo units in particular that have room for improvement. So, right. and that's the way that you're going to, you know, climb that ladder on Airbnb. You're going to, you know, you might pick up a unit that's dated and older, and then you just simply do a remodel on it, you know, and you move it up that chain on that Airbnb ladder, so that you're not in the lower percentile, but in the higher, and you're bringing in great money. So, all right. So competition, you'd say, is probably the number one factor as far as a challenge. And again, I've presented you with an easy solution, guys. You just want to remodel that unit so you can move up that ladder on Airbnb. How do you handle maintenance and upkeep of your oceanfront condos, especially considering the harsh coastal environment?
So the coastal environment doesn't affect too much. It does affect. I make sure I don't put any brushed nickel in any of the condos because that's going to rust.
Brushed nickel. You hear that, guys? He doesn't use brushed nickel in any of the condos because it's going to rust. Easy.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll put either black fixtures or I will put exterior fixtures in the property sometimes.
Wow, you put exterior fixtures in the inside of the property.
Right.
That's a smart move.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's real smart.
Besides that, I mean, the condo hotels in their AC units. The AC units, I definitely spend the extra cash. If your AC unit goes and you buy a new one, spend the extra cash to get a special unit that's made for the beach.
Yep. So he's giving you the sauce, guys. He's giving you the sauce. All right. So, and then, the coastal environment, I just want to throw this out here. People are always concerned with hurricanes in our market and stuff like that. Yes, we have hurricanes here. It's a very real thing. Yes, these are oceanfront condos. However, your HOA fee is going to cover the insurance on the property, which is going to cover the HOA fee's insurance is going to cover the external portion of the building. So, a large part of that stuff is all taken care of.
It's taken care of. And these buildings have been hit many times by hurricanes and they've hung around. So
yeah, exactly.
They've been tested and proved.
They've got a great track record. So can you share any tips or strategies for maximizing rental income from your Myrtle Beach Oceanfront condos that you haven't shared so far?
So like you said, photos, the curb appeal. You want to renovate the units. 2 years ago, I would have said I would have just throw it out there and rent it. There was a shift after COVID. People have gotten pickier on how the units look. Before that, they were just renting. So make sure your unit looks nice. Make sure it has good photos. Make sure the photos somewhat match what the condo looks like. Besides that, that's really all you need to do.
Too simple, too easy, guys. He's laying it out for you. He's giving you the sauce. So, all right, what are some common misconceptions that people have about investing in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach?
Well, I think a lot of people are afraid of the competition. Almost everyone I've talked to, there's so many there, and there's no way you rent in the winter. I rent in the winter. I'm full.
Did you hear that? He's full in the winter. He rents in the winter.
All year.
There are snowbirds and retirees that are going to come and rent these units. Now, you want to make sure you have a washer and dryer. There's some things that you can do in the unit to make sure you can get long-term rentals. 30 days or more. 3 months at the time. However, but yes, people do rent units during the winter time during our non-peak season.
Right. Yeah. So I'm full in the winters.
Yes. Yeah. So common misconceptions.
Besides that, the number one thing I hear is the HOA fees, and everyone, once they see the HOA fees, they shut down, not understanding that it's totally irrelevant.
It's totally irrelevant. The tourists are paying your HOA dues if you do it right.
Yeah, I make enough money June, July, August to cover all my bills for the year.
Hold on. I've got to recap that. He makes enough money June, July, and August to cover his bills for the entire year.
Besides that, everything, the winter, off seasons, everything else, that's just extra cushion, extra money in the pocket.
We can't make this any more clear. And this guy is living proof right here. He owns 12 units. He's giving you the sauce, guys. All right, so moving right along, what advice would you have you faced any unexpected challenges or setbacks in your journey as an oceanfront condo investor in Myrtle Beach? And then how did you overcome those?
So the only setback that I can think of off the top of my head is really when COVID hit, and Myrtle, basically they banned short-term rentals. I thought, 12 units, this is gonna be it for me. It was right before summer. Luckily, they shut them down for 60 days, which we did qualify for SBA loans to cover those days. So
nice.
Otherwise, I think there were other options out there.
Yeah. So either way, you overcame those challenges, you weathered it, you got through it, and you're still doing great today.
Right.
Yep. What advice would you give to someone considering investing in Myrtle Beach Oceanfront condos for the first time?
Do it. Don't wait. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to about this years ago, and now the values have doubled since then.
Yep. I had a client who was kicking himself because he was looking at buying a unit pre-COVID, He didn't buy it. He ended up not buying it, and then he just bought it. He paid over $100,000 more. So guys, like, they appreciate, they're doing well, and they make money, and you can depreciate them. Lots of reasons, and you save on your vacation costs. There's lots of reasons to own an oceanfront condo. Now, how do you stay up to date on market trends and regulations affecting oceanfront condos?
I mean, I'm in Facebook groups. A lot of the Facebook groups I've actually created a Facebook group for almost every resort here. So there's a lot of talk out there. So I watch it.
Yep, absolutely. So Facebook is an excellent way. You can also get in, your HOA meeting minutes.
Right.
You can dive into those and find out what's going on, or you can just simply make friends with your neighbors at the units.
Right.
Get a few friends' names and phone numbers. Stay in contact with them. Chat with them. Get the right information. Get that inside information. Which I feel like is probably going to help you out best.
Right.
Yeah. Stay tuned, because in the rest of the video, do you primarily use platforms like Airbnb, VRBO, or both for renting your condos, and why? I mean, because basically that's going to give you access to people that will rent your unit. I mean, that you don't have to pay anything out for.
Here's the link to my website. Here's a promo code, and they're saving 10% by booking direct, and then another 10% using my promo code.
He's giving you the sauce. Can't say it enough. I mean, like, super simple, super easy, guys.
I try to be available, so when that perfect deal pops up, I can.
So do you primarily use platforms like Airbnb, VRBO, or both for renting your condos, and why?
So I'm on both, and Google Vacation Rentals. I'd say 95% of my bookings come from Airbnb. I think it's because of the type of properties they are. If they were houses, I think VRBO would outnumber it. But I'm on Airbnb, VRBO, and Google Vacation Rentals, and my own website.
You hear this, guys? Andy's got his own website set up. Smart move. I mean, because basically that's going to give you access to people that will rent your unit. I mean, that you don't have to pay anything out for. You don't have to pay anything to Airbnb or anybody else. So, I'm a huge advocate for creating a blog around your specific oceanfront condo unit, and publishing some content and putting it out there and pushing it out there throughout the year, and running Facebook ads. Super simple to run a Facebook ad and capture people that are online looking, capture their information, that are online looking at, yes, a vacation rental in Myrtle Beach would be a good option for me and my family. So there are definitely, plenty of ways to generate, interest in your property, but you don't have to pay out fees on Airbnb and VRBO.
Right. Every guest that when they check out, they get an automated message from me saying, if you ever want to return, here's a link to my website. Here's a promo code, and they're saving 10% by booking direct, and then another 10% using my promo code.
He's giving you the sauce. I can't say it enough. I mean, like, super simple, super easy, guys. He's showing you how to get repeat business and make more money next time. And it's a great service to them, which obviously is going to cause them to want to. I can save 10%. Great.
Right.
I want to rent his now. I don't have to go through Airbnb. All right. Can you walk us through your typical process for acquiring a property and making it ready for rental?
Yeah. So acquiring it, whether you have cash, some people will do either cash out finance or a HELOC on their home and go buy a property cash.
Yep.
Or you have a lender that can finance them with 25% down.
Yep.
And then for that 25% down, you can either, again, do a HELOC for the 25% down, or save up. What I did, sold my primary residence, or, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so there's lots of strategies for breaking into the game. But how do you identify a property?
So usually for myself, I look for a deal. I keep an eye out for a deal. Amazing realtor will find the deal for me.
Come on.
I try to be available, so when that perfect deal pops up, I can.
Now, when you say deal, are you looking for a dated unit that you can remodel? Are you looking for a unit that's already turnkey and it's just priced under market?
So it depends because like depends on the time of the year, depends on my availability. If I see a data unit that they're eager to sell, they drop their price, and I have time, I'll scoop it up. I'll go in, I'll remodel it myself. I'll do all the work myself and basically get either ready, get it ready for booking or sell it.
Yep.
Or if I see a good deal on a turnkey that's been fully remodeled, I'll jump on that.
Just jump on it. Just jump on it and get it. Now, you mentioned time of year.
Yeah. So so one of the things that is there's investment buying season. So there's certain times of the year where you're up against a lot of competition.
Is that during summertime or wintertime? Or?
It's wintertime. It's a lot of people are wanting to buy so that way they fall right into the spring, making their first mortgage payment from their first clients, first Airbnb guest. And also a lot of times that's when HOAs are announced and special assessments are announced, and sometimes people are offloading their properties and they want to offload them before
everything hits.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of times it can be advantageous for you as a buyer because, if they've owned the property for 5 to 7 years, it's appreciated, they've made money on it, and then they got all these special assessments hitting. You can come in and go, listen, I'll buy your property, but I've got to pay all these special assessments, and they're making money on it because it's appreciated anyway. So you can kind of haggle them down and be like, listen, I'll take it, I'll pay the special assessments, but I want to buy it at a reduced price. I want to get a good deal on this.
Right.
And they're just, it's paper money for them at that point. It's just appreciation.
Right.
So they're going, okay, great, yeah, I'll cut you a deal if I don't got to pay all these special assessments.
Right. That's usually.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the future of Myrtle Beach's real estate market, particularly for oceanfront properties?
So I think it's going to get limited. I think a lot of the big guys like Hilton and Marriott, they're buying everyone out, they're knocking them down, and they're building big buildings because they see the profit. That it's a profitable area. Let's knock down these personally owned condos and put a big resort there.
Yep.
But they're not going to sell those. So now those people who owned in there, now they want to buy another property. Yep. Well, now eventually it's going to get to a point where it's going to be very limited real estate.
Wow. So now is the time to invest.
Right.
Get in now and own as much as you can.
Yes.
Wonderful. Let's get in unit 906. You'll notice nice LVP flooring right when you walk in. Great colors. There's 2 full-size beds, flat screen TV. Closet. It is a bathroom entrance here across the hall. You have another really nice setup here. Double full-size beds, 2 closets, your bathroom, of course. You notice in granite right there. Nice fixtures, everything's modern and updated. That's what you want to see. You should have a washer dryer right here, as well as the HVAC system, as you can see. Granite countertop, stainless steel appliances. Everything is updated. Very, very nice. Now your master's here, but I'm going to take you into the dining room and living room first. As you can see, the decor is a big deal, guys. And it looks sharp, it looks modern, it looks trendy. This decor makes for great photos. This is your moneymaker, this nice, spacious, large balcony. As you can see here, got a view of the ocean, a little bit of a view of the city. Master, again with 2 beds, flat screen, great decor, nice closet, and of course, tub shower combo, granite, nice fixtures. All right, guys, so we've got another video with Matt Freeze. Click on the screen right now and let's get this secret sauce.